Friends, welcome into another edition of Soccer Texas. I'm Alex Parra. Beside me, the one and only Victor Araiza. And we are here post-match at Shell Energy Stadium. First game of the 20th season for the Houston Dynamo. Final score in the rivalry, one of the rivalries in the state of Texas. FC Dallas coming here and picking up the 2-1 victory. Victor, your initial impressions of this match first.
Well, first of all, great to be here for another season. I think it's we've heard it 20th season for the club, 30th season for MLS. Personally, 15. So we're racking those numbers up. We're feeling we're getting older as we go. But that's right. But look, two teams that have gone a lot of restructuring in the off season, right? In terms of FC Dallas. A player in his first MLS head coaching gig, and obviously got his victory, and we'll get into that storyline because it has ties to Houston. But again, that was one of the things that maybe for the Dynamo we didn't know what to expect. Right? We heard about the system being in place, but no HH, no Coco Carrasquilla, Mikael has also been sold. That's been announced today. So I think we saw some of those absences here today. Steve Clark as well.
It's a different team. And Coach Ben Olsen has addressed this, Victor, that it's a work in progress and that it's going to take time. And that's one of the key elements in this. How much time does a pro team have this day and age in the MLS? Because this has to be instant gratification. Today, we heard Coach talking about how they should have won this game. They've left points on the table, if you will, in a rivalry that's very important to the psyche of fans. So from a fan's perspective, Victor, if you can put yourself in that mindset, this is not the way this new chapter of Houston Dynamo starts.
Well, nobody wants to start the season with a loss at home. Yeah. Certainly not in a rivalry game, which the circumstances kind of gave us this Texas Derby early. And then again, maybe I gave the edge to FC Dallas a little bit just because they have a former MLS MVP. Their difference maker, I think, is a bit more seasoned, is a bit more, or at least closer to his prime years. And, the Dynamo picked up Nicolas Lodeiro, but I don't know. I mean, the big question is how much gas does he have in the tank? Were they going to be able to have Ezequiel Ponce live up to his best abilities, which is still a question to follow this season. And Jack McGlynn, look, there's also the opportunity where he hit the post.
Beautiful shot.
Was that luck, or was that bad luck in terms of the Dynamo, or does he still have to work on that side of his game? So there's a lot of things here to dissect, and there will be also because it is the first game of the season, but certainly because of the rivalry factor of it, it leaves a bad taste in the fans' mouth.
Absolutely. 30 years of MLS, friends, and 20 years of Houston Dynamo soccer. Quickly on that, we'll be talking about it throughout the season. Victor, how do you celebrate? How do you assess? How do you give context to what 20 years of professional soccer in the city means? It means to us, it means to you, the fans. Just some initial thoughts of reflecting back on 20 years. 15 for you, but 20 for Houston professional men's soccer.
Still work in progress, which unfortunately is the reality because, look, this was a team that won in 06 and 07. Yeah. And I'm glad that the 20th season gives the opportunity to finally look back at some of that history. We always talk about it, but I think in the general public, right, certainly the club, they've been a lot of social media postings in that regard. So I think that's always great to go back in the history of the club, and maybe that's me. I'm more old school. I'm not up with these social media trends. I think you got to go to the authentic soccer fan.
Sure.
But going more to your question, it's a big work in progress. We've talked about how this club has sort of abandoned some of its hardcore fans. Today, the opening game of the season used to be one of the most well-attended, automatic sellouts in some cases. And that wasn't the case today, and people can tell me the rain and give me all these excuses. But if you have authentic fans, if you have fans buying in, have that passion, I think you could have filled this place up. And that's unfortunately the reality of where the team is today. They're taking some steps to work towards that. Yeah. But again, I think the pressure has to come internally. It has to come from the ownership group. They have to want to see this revved up to 100 miles per hour. Otherwise, it's going to be a slow and steady progress, if it is progress.
There's Victor, and I'm Alex, and we'll be continuing to cover the Houston Dynamo throughout this 20th season of professional soccer in Houston. And I can't believe it either, Victor, 30 seasons now of MLS soccer. So thank you, Victor, for your time today. And thanks to all of you friends that take the time to be with us. You'll hear more, you'll see more, you'll read more of our coverage of Houston Dynamo soccer throughout the season.